Puente Grande Prison is notorious as the most fortified correctional facility in Mexico. This maximum security prison is specifically designed to house the country's most dangerous criminals, particularly the leaders of drug cartels. With a guard-to-inmate ratio of 2 guards for every inmate, the prison features walls reinforced with heavy concrete and robust steel, resembling a military base. Security measures are stringent, including heavily armed guards, watchtowers, and multiple checkpoints to prevent escapes. Number 1. El Chapo's imprisonment. Joaquín El Chapo. Guzmán is widely regarded as one of the most dangerous drug lords in history. He rose to prominence as the leader of Sinaloa Cartel, which became one of the most powerful drug trafficking organizations in the world. El Chapo was first arrested in 1993 after a lengthy manhunt by Mexican authorities, marking the beginning of his tumultuous relationship with law enforcement. Despite being imprisoned, El Chapo managed to maintain control over his drug empire. His ability to orchestrate operations from behind bars was largely due to extensive bribery and corruption. With a vast fortune accumulated from years of drug trafficking, he was able to pay off prison officials, guards, and other authorities to ensure his comfort and continued operations. His bribery tactics included providing lavish gifts and cash incentives, enabling him to enjoy a lifestyle that many inmates could only dream of. He even arranged for alcohol, gourmet meals, and visits from his wives and mistresses, ensuring that his time in prison was relatively comfortable. One of the key figures in El Chapo's life during his imprisonment was Damaso Lopez, the deputy chief of security at Puente Grande. Lopez became El Chapo's right-hand man after being heavily bribed. This relationship allowed El Chapo to manipulate the prison system to his advantage, effectively granting him a level of control that was unprecedented for an inmate. Lopez's support enabled El Chapo to orchestrate his drug operations even while incarcerated, further solidifying his power and influence. Number 2. Drug trafficking innovations. While imprisoned, El Chapo was not content to simply sit idle. Instead, he sought innovative methods to continue his drug trafficking operations. One of the most notable strategies he developed was the construction of elaborate tunnels for smuggling drugs across the US-Mexico border. These tunnels were not merely holes in the ground, they were sophisticated engineering feats, complete with ventilation systems and tracks for transporting drugs. To execute this ambitious plan, El Chapo hired engineers and specialists who possessed the expertise necessary to dig these tunnels. This innovative approach to drug trafficking significantly increased the efficiency and profitability of the Sinaloa Cartel's operations. Reports suggest that the cartel generated around $20 million per month from their smuggling activities, a staggering amount that surpassed previous methods of drug trafficking. This newfound revenue stream allowed El Chapo to maintain his lavish lifestyle even while behind bars, further entrenching his position as a leading figure in the drug trade. As El Chapo's operations expanded, concerns grew among U.S. authorities regarding the volume of drugs being smuggled across the border. The U.S. government sought to extradite El Chapo, fearing that his continued presence in Mexico would enable further criminal activities. However, Mexican officials refused these extradition requests, asserting that they could manage their criminals domestically and expressing pride in their ability to maintain control over high-profile inmates. Number 3. The escape plan. In 2001, the landscape began to shift. A proposal emerged to create a law that would allow the extradition of criminals to the United States. This legislative change prompted El Chapo to feel increasingly vulnerable and threatened by the possibility of being transferred to a U.S. prison. Faced with the prospect of losing everything he had built, El Chapo quickly devised an escape plan. He coordinated with a select group of trusted individuals who were instrumental in executing the escape. Central to his plan was bribery. El Chapo bribed key personnel, including Damaso Lopez, to ensure that the prison's security would be compromised during his escape. This involved reducing the number of guards on duty at the time of the escape, effectively creating an opportunity for him to flee. January 19, 2001, was the date set for this audacious escape, and meticulous preparations were made in the days leading up to it. Number 4. The escape execution. On the day of the escape, the plan came to fruition. El Chapo was concealed in a laundry cart by a prison worker named Chito, who played a crucial role in the operation. Chito managed to navigate through the prison gates without raising any suspicion due to the bribes that had been paid to the guards. The combination of a well-orchestrated plan and corrupt officials enabled El Chapo to make his daring escape from the seemingly impenetrable Puente Grande prison. Once outside the prison walls, El Chapo was met by a network of corrupt police officers who had been bribed to facilitate his getaway. These officers deliberately delayed any pursuit, providing El Chapo with the crucial time he needed to escape successfully. Following his dramatic escape, El Chapo quickly gained legendary status within the criminal underworld, perceived as untouchable and above the law. His escape marked the beginning of a new chapter in his life, allowing him to continue expanding his drug empire over the next 14 years. During this time, the Sinaloa Cartel's influence grew significantly, characterized by extreme violence and ruthlessness, particularly in northern Mexican cities. El Chapo's operations were not only profitable, but also marked by a brutal campaign against rival cartels and law enforcement agencies. Number 5. Pursuit and capture. Despite his newfound freedom, El Chapo's life on the run was not without its challenges. In 2014, Mexican and U.S. intelligence agencies renewed their efforts to locate him, focusing on tracking his associates to gain leads on his whereabouts. The operation relied on a combination of traditional investigative techniques and modern technology to gather intelligence on his movements. One of the key breakthroughs came when authorities convinced a young Colombian technical assistant to assist them in hacking El Chapo's communication network. This strategic move allowed law enforcement to gain critical insights into his operations, ultimately leading to his downfall. On February 17, 2014, a coordinated operation involving Mexican Special Forces and DEA agents resulted in the storming of one of El Chapo's safe houses in Sinaloa. Number 6. The final moments before capture. El Chapo's safe house was heavily fortified, featuring multiple secure doors designed to thwart any potential intrusion. As the authorities breached the premises, El Chapo executed a last-ditch escape plan. He fled through a tunnel that led from the bathroom, showcasing his foresight and ability to adapt to rapidly changing circumstances. The escape tunnel was an engineering marvel, measuring 1.5 kilometers in length and strategically located behind his cell. It featured ventilation pipes and even included a railroad track for transporting sand, illustrating the lengths to which El Chapo went to ensure his freedom. This escape occurred on July 11, 2015, while El Chapo was watching a comedy series in his cell, a testament to his seemingly carefree attitude despite the looming threat of capture. Incredibly, it took the prison guards approximately 40 minutes to realize he had escaped. During this crucial time, El Chapo fled to a safe house in Sinaloa, evading capture once again. However, law enforcement was relentless in their pursuit, and authorities eventually tracked him down to Los Mochis, Sinaloa. Upon his discovery, El Chapo attempted to bribe federal police officers, showcasing the desperation that came with the reality of his situation. Following his final arrest, a significant military presence was established to prevent any rescue attempts by his associates. This marked the end of an era for one of the most notorious criminals in history. El Chapo's tale of escape and evasion highlights the challenges law enforcement faces in combating organized crime. His ability to maintain control over a vast drug empire from prison underscores the depths of corruption within the system. The story of El Chapo is not just about a prison escape. It encapsulates the broader issues of drug trafficking, power, and the intricate dance between criminals and authorities in the ongoing battle against organized crime.